There has been great excitement and frustration surrounding the recent release of the minted miner by RAK Wireless. A lucky number of soon-to-be HNT miners were able to get their hands on these, air quotes, money printers, but a larger number of people are still waiting for their RAK miners they ordered through CalChip or other distributors months ago. I 100% understand this frustration, as I waited nearly 7 months for my original RAK miner and would be furious if it was still not delivered and these minted miners were being shipped right away. But the root cause of this situation comes down to some logistical distribution network agreements that go back years, back when there were only a few thousand miners on the network and only a few major manufacturers. The reality back then was that the demand for these miners was unclear, so companies, just like RAK, were interested in finding distribution partners to bulk order product and sell it themselves. This is exactly what they did, but with the network's rapid growth over the recent year, this business model was no longer efficient or necessary. Let's get into some of the details in today's video. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video here on the Crypto Compound channel. Thank you all so much for being here. Please hit the like and subscribe on the way in. In today's video, there's a lot to cover, a lot of interesting things to cover, and a lot of very controversial things to cover as well. We are going to be discussing the recent release of the minted miners, and we are going to talk about some of the people who have ordered RAK miners months ago, in the middle of the summer, in the beginning of the year, in fact, who have not yet received their RAK miners. Now, of course, if you do not take a second to look at really what's going on behind the scenes with these miners and the incredible demand, it would be pretty easy just to say RAK Wireless is doing a terrible thing here. But that really, once you dig down and you understand what's been happening since the inception of Helium actually letting outside manufacturers create these miners, you begin to understand the relationship of all of these different counterparties and how this really has been working, and the reason why RAK has done what they have done. And they made it very clear in their release. They want to be more direct to consumer. They want to have better customer service. They want to be able to get people their miners when they actually order them, stuff like that. So we're going to discuss some of the background of RAK Wireless, some of the background of CalChip, and all of the intricacies of the relationships and stuff like that, and try and understand really how we've come to this point. So guys, the first thing I want to do is to rewind and look at this chart here quickly. Total hotspots. This is the total hotspots on the network. Back a long time ago, Helium themselves used to actually produce their own Helium miner. They still exist today and still work. However, they've made the decision at some point to actually stop making them themselves and outsource that to third-party manufacturers that they put through a rigorous onboarding test, and then they approve a third-party manufacturer to then sell a miner that is compatible with the Helium network. That is what happened. RAK Wireless was actually one of the very first third-party manufacturers to do this. So as you guys can see in this chart, this is the hotspots onboarded per day by Maker. In January of 2021, it looks like, is when the first CalChip miners actually came online on the network. And if we go back to this chart here, we can see that in January of 2021, there were about 14 or 15,000 hotspots on the network. Now keep in mind, when RAK was in the progress of trying to apply to create these miners for Helium, it was probably all of 2H of 2020 that they were in the discussion and the development of the actual miner. So we could probably say that when they were testing this and trying to run the numbers, there's probably about 10, 11, 12,000 miners on the network, and they're projecting, who knows, they could have been projecting anything. But if we see here, the inflection point really with these miners came around April of 2021, when we really skyrocketed and took off and went up just straight up, and now we're over 200,000 miners, as we know. So the reason I am explaining this is because what RAK did back then was they made an agreement with a distributor, one of them being CalChip, which many of people have ordered their miners through. And CalChip agree, and as a distributor, you can see here, CalChip Connect is defining a new class of technology distribution. So they are just a distributor. They even sell Carolink miners on their website. They are just a distributor. They do not produce any actual technology themselves. They just distribute it directly to the customer, and they buy from different companies, different pieces of technology. As you can see, they sell a lot of different things. The important thing is that CalChip has discretion over how they operate their own sale of the Helium product. So as you can see now, the Helium, if you do select If you do go to the lower end hardware and select the Helium network compatible miner, you are bringing directly to a waitlist now. So with CalChip able to just do whatever they want and accept orders however they want, things started to get really messy. So in summary, RAK didn't have any control over how CalChip really ran their operations. That would include pricing, how many miners they allowed per order, the number of pre-orders they accept for their own customers, and whether or not that number exceeded what they have ordered from RAK Wireless. Now that is the really important part here, because CalChip on one hand is accepting all these orders from customers. Meanwhile, they have agreements in place and orders placed with RAK for hotspots. And once those two things start getting too spread apart, too far away from each other, things get really messy and they don't have enough orders that they've ordered from RAK to fulfill their customer orders. And keep in mind, there was no limit on how many orders you can order through CalChip. It was unlimited. You could have someone show up one day and order 300 miners. Now, if we go over to the Minted website, we can obviously see that RAK Wireless has limited this amount to 5 miners per order. This is just to try and make it so that everyone that wants a miner can get one. You can have someone that comes in and orders 1,000 miners. That would remove 999 other people that try and get a miner. So that is why Minted has done this. RAK Wireless has split from or tried to move away from the distribution channels. And as we know, the supply distribution channels have been affecting all different parts of the economy. As you can see here, when you click on the Helium compatible products on CalChip website, they also sell Carelink Helium network miners. That is just showing how they operate. They must have some sort of agreement with Carelink as well to order miners from them and then sell it through their website. Now, of course, I wouldn't encourage anyone to order the Carelinks through here. I believe you can order them also directly through Carelink. I'm not positive about that. In any case, it's also now important to realize the reason why RAK has decided to do what it has done with Minted. I don't know this for a fact, but I imagine this is part of the reason why RAK decided to create this Minted brand or company. It is because they saw the success that Bobcat has had with just announcing that they are creating a Helium miner now that there is such high demand for them, and they do not need a distribution partner. They are able just to sell them directly through their website. And this, of course, reduces so much burden on the company with regards to resources and technical agreements and technical aspects of a distribution channel and legal agreements and all sorts of stuff, where you could just create it and ship it directly to the customer. You control everything. You control how much they order. You control the price. You control everything at that point. And that is why we are seeing RAK do this, because they have a miner, they've confirmed and see this super high demand for that product, and they realize that it is much more efficient and probably much more profitable just to sell it directly to the customer. And as we can see here, this is just a CalChip weekly status update. If you're looking at this, you might think that CalChip is actually producing these. That is not the case. CalChip is just trying to control expectations here with the orders that they've received from customers and with the orders they have with RAK. So guys, I hope that helps explain the situation a little bit, the background of what's been going on sort of behind the scenes. But ultimately, they did this to try and create a smoother experience for the end customer, the end user, the person that is buying the hotspot. Guys, I hope this makes a little sense. Let me know what you think. Of course, there's going to be a lot of different opinions here, but I totally understand why RAK did this and the reasoning behind it from their perspective. And I think in a few years, with regards to how this is going to impact the network, I think it will have a very positive effect, for the reasons being that people are going to have a better experience when trying to get onto the network, and it is going to be a faster, smoother experience. So guys, let me know what you think. Very interesting, quite controversial video today, but I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please, again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you have not already. But just like that, this video is over, and I will see you next time.